All right, look who it is, everybody. It's Lizzie Hale of
Ah,
Halestorm.
yeah, thank God there's only one.
Thank
Jesus.
you so much for spending some time with us today.
Oh, anytime. Thanks for taking the time for me. It's good to see your face.
It's always good to see you. How was Europe? You just got back, didn't you?
Oh, it was great. Well, we just got back from Australia
Oh, it was
actually. So
Australia, not Europe. It was over
it's
there.
okay because we were in Europe before that. So it's
Okay.
you're living my life. You're like, where am I today?
Where am I today?
Um,
What
it's
time is it?
the
What? Yeah,
the guys are trying to Ron Burgundy me on this on my cheat sheet because like I'll say anything that's on the set list. So
that's
so they're
hilarious.
trying to mess me up now because that's how my brain is. But no, it was great. The tours have been awesome. We just got back from Australia and did a couple knot fests and headliner
Right,
shows, and it's great to just experience the other side of the world. And coming back here was a little difficult. Not quite sure what time zone it is in
right.
my brain, but yeah.
And then on top of that, I don't think you know what a vacation is because you're always
Yeah, no, it's
working.
true. It's hard for me to do nothing. I've been trying. On our last run, I went to New Zealand a couple days early so that I could just do nothing for a couple days.
Sure.
Still ended up writing a song, and I did that the same thing over the weekend, over the Easter weekend. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do nothing today. And then, we ended up putting my piano up, and I'm like, oh man, okay, let me just sit down and do stuff. So, yeah, it's tough. It's
And,
tough to.
the most recent news is now you're going out with a band that you kind of, I mean, is it borderline not stalking, but I mean, you're a big fan of that band.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So how'd that come about? I'm talking about Skid Row, by the way.
Oh yeah, dude. So it's kind of crazy because like in my beginnings, like right before we started the band, Halestorm, now this is like 96, so a year before we started the band, which was 97. And there's a lot of stuff on the radio around that time. It was like
Sure.
Mariah Carey, Boys to Men, the boy bands were having a thing, and Britney was about to explode. And I was into at the time, like basically had blinders onto everything that was on contemporary radio and was
Right.
only listening to 80s hair metal and anything from the 70s. So 70s,
Nothing
80s were
wrong
my
with
thing,
that.
right? And these were like, and the men of Pennsylvania and Jersey like introduced me to Skid Row. And Skid Row was like one of the very few bands that helped bridge that gap because they were like still had the big stuff and like that and the big courses and the riffs and everything and the songs, but they still had that seedy underbelly that we all felt, like that we were all feeling in the 90s. So it was this great like bridge. And I can honestly say that like I would not be the rocker that I am today without Skid Row. And so fast forward, right? Years and years later, I become friends with Rachel Bolin and Snake. They were one of the first people to really like just kind of, take me in when I moved to Nashville, be like, hey, here's the metal scene. I got to meet then the guys from Cinderella and all the people from Aerosmith, like all
Living
these
your
people that,
dream.
right? And then, so then recently, this was a couple months ago, we were at a birthday party for Nick Raskulin. It's the producer who has done our past couple of records. And Rachel Bolin's there, and he's like, hey, I have a question for you. Would you ever get up and sing a set with us? And I'm like, oh man, like anything for you, dude. It's like, okay, well, like seriously though, think about it. So I forget all about it, right? Of course, I'm like, oh, we're just talking at a party. And then he calls me months later and he's like, hey, were you serious about that? Because we got some stuff going on and we need some dates to be filled. So I'm like, dude, I am here for you. I love you, man. Let me clear my schedule. So I cleared my schedule. We got the dates set. And then they announced it last week. And I didn't realize it all flooded in one instance how important this thing is. It's
Right.
not just about me playing and performing and having to front the band that were my idols growing up and really like raised me in rock. But also it's like I'm hearing from people I haven't heard from in like 15 years saying, "Oh my God, my two favorite bands coming together. Oh my God, I can't wait." There's all this positivity, and it's like this is becoming an event, like something that people can look forward to. And so, anyway, I've talked about it a bunch with the guys, and in a more childish approach, I did joke with them, and I'm like, "Hey, it's funny how my audition tape from 1996 finally made it in the mail,
That's
and I get to
hilarious.
be the front person for Skid Row." No, it's like it's kind of funny. But I'm treating it like an Olympic sport, Johnny. I have all this. I have like the set list that they've been doing for the past couple years. I have all the songs, and I'm on like my stationary bike trying to make sure I can hit the high notes. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So let's go to August 6th here in Wichita,
Woo!
T95's birthday bash.
Yes.
What better birthday party would it be to have Halestorm play live?
Oh,
Cannot wait.
I think that that needs to happen.
So we are turning 45 years old this year. How many rock
That's
radio
awesome.
stations can say they're 45 years old? Not very.
Not many, man. I mean, you're lifers. That's what it is.
So you guys and I Prevail and Hollywood Undead are going to be in town August 6th. Cannot wait.
Yes.
Tickets are on sale now. T95's birthday bash. We're going to have a
Woo!
party, and our friend Adrock's going to be in town. Everybody's coming because
Everyone's
you
coming.
guys are performing at our birthday party, and we can't wait.
Absolutely. And you know what else? Let's just add a little bit more special because that week is very important to Hailstorm as well, because that is the week on August 9th, 97, when we had our first show and named
That's
our band Hailstorm.
amazing. We
So
have
it's
we have
lots of
to we have to
celebration.
talk about that up on stage.
Yes, we're gonna have to do that.
It's your birthday too. We'll get a cake and we'll put the two
Everybody's
cakes
birthdays.
together.
Yeah. And then we get to smash the cake.
So let's go back to that early time in your life. You started like really, really early, and it was a family affair. Obviously,
Mhm.
your brother's in the band now. Your dad was in the band at the beginning,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Our dad was in the band for about a summer and a half. Like my brother and I started the band. We had our first show. It was just the two of us, and at the time, little bro named it Hailstorm because he just wouldn't stop bugging me that we needed a band name. But I'm like, dude, we're two people. We're not a band. This is before the White Stripes. We didn't know
Sure.
that was a thing. We're like, it needs to be four members at least. So then we're like, well, so after we caught the bug and we had gigs coming up at like the local bowling alley and stuff like that, we're like, well, dad can play bass. Why don't
That's
we just have
true.
him in the band? So then it was the three of us. And then we hired on a guitar player. And then shortly after that, we're like, Dad, we want to look for people our own age. We're gonna actually like try to do this thing. And poor dad was so bummed. He's like, well, do I still get to come to the shows? And we're like, well, Dad, we can't drive. So yeah,
We'll
what's
give you
gonna
an
happen?
all access pass, Dad. You can go anywhere
You
you
know,
want.
dad is always our number one roadie,
All right,
so
so fast forward to today. Let's see here. You've got a Grammy.
mm,
You are the first female fronted rock band to get a number one. You are the ambassador of Gibson. What haven't you done that you want to do? Or could we give you just another award because you guys are so awesome?
oh, thank you so much. There's not, what? It's the funny thing about dreams is that you never run out of them.
Right?
And I feel like I had a set amount of dreams when I was a kid, when we first started, and I've accomplished more than were even on that list. And so you kind of have to keep adding stuff and be like, okay, how far can I take it? I'm my level of competition is in the long play, in the very same way that T95 is after 45 years is I just want to outlast them all and see how far I can take it. And I think
Awesome.
that's kind of like how that is. But as far as like things, I mean, I would love to not have to go through TSA anymore. So that's a goal. I want Hail Force One. I also have never had any stripper pole prowess. So, some stripper pole lessons I think are in order.
That'd be
Just in
awesome.
case, because that is my backup plan.
That's your
I think I'd be
everybody's
a
got to have a
fantastic stripper.
backup, right? All right, so you have done some really amazing collaborations. Let's name a few. Corey Taylor,
Mhm.
Dee Snider. You've worked with Amy Lee and Evanescence. Anybody on your bucket list or wish list?
Oh, always, and it's
Everybody?
constant. Oh my god, and it's constantly growing. Even past like I've done so many things with my idols as well, with like Alice Cooper and Tom Kiefer and all this crazy stuff. And getting to talk with people like Pat Benatar and Hart and all the girls that came before me. Honestly, I'd like to go weird, and I want to bring Pink to the dark side and do something with her at some point because I love her voice. And honestly, I just love saying yes to adventure. And if it moves me, it moves me. And um, I'm just so grateful for so many different people to open the door for me and to be like, hey, let's like see what like I brought a pony, you brought a rocket. Let's see if we can take it to space. Like,
You know, and it's really cool because in a lot of ways you've opened the door for so many others. There's a lot of rock bands out there that all of the members are female, or
Mm.
there's a lot more female fronted
Oh
rock
yeah.
bands these days. And they probably were looking at you going, hey, I want to be like Lizzie.
It's so true, and I'm so happy that I've gotten to have these conversations with not just the women who came before us, but also my peers, and with Amy Lee and Taylor Momsen and Maria Brink and the Warning Girls, and all having these conversations about how it's very important that no matter what the war, no matter what the battle, no matter what you got, whether it's in your head or the outside, everything, it's important to see it through and to stick to it. And because it's about the doing it. It's not about knowing everything. It's not about having this vast knowledge, but it's a series of all of us kind of passing the baton. It's like I got some amazing advice from, Pat Benatar about how to make it through the messy middle, before I even knew what that was. And now I'm able to say to a young band like The Warning, hey, give yourself permission to be flawed and to not have it all figured out, because you're doing the thing. You have your teeth in it. You're hungry. Don't stop that, because there's going to be a point in time where you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm riding in the backseat of my life and this is just going and everything's great, but nobody prepared me for when things are actually happening. We always thought, oh, there's going to be something that happens. And when it happens, it's like nobody prepares you for that. So, in order to, like, if I literally just talked about this with Amy Lee about how between the two of us, if we have done nothing else right in our lives, but be able to pass a little bit of that information on, and then the next time, then when they go through it, they can pass it on to the next one. It's like that's kind of just what we're in it for, and what it's all about. No matter what level you're on, it's about having experiences. And just because you're brave doesn't mean you're not terrified of it. But those of us that are willing to bash down the door, or even if the door is locked, there's a cracked window somewhere.
Sure.
I found this way in, and like pass on the information, give that, because at the end of the day, that's all that this is worth it for. It's like, it's not, I'm not doing this because wow, it really pays the bills, or it really, or I have some weird like fame situation and complex. I'm actually a very shy kid inside. And so it's like those aren't the reasons. They come with things and they come with their own set of problems. But it's still just, I don't know. I'm a dork from Pennsylvania that still doesn't have it figured out. And the things that have helped me along the way, here, maybe that'll help you. Build yourself a castle.
That's awesome. T95's birthday bash, August 6th. Hailstorm, I Prevail tickets are on sale now.
Woo!
2024, a big year. Obviously, the tour. What can you tell us about the next album? Can you talk about it? Or
Yeah, I mean, like we're writing a record. We've been writing it for in our spare time and for a while, but we're the kings of multitasking right now. And so it's been little bits here and there, but we're seeing the end of it, and we're getting back in the studio in April to try to finish some things up. We'll definitely have some new things for everybody really soon.
cool.
And including some new collaborations and also other adventures that I've said yes to that were like, whoa, that came up on the table. So you're definitely going to be sick of me before long. But yeah, it's just a lot of exciting work, and I feel like this album, even beyond the last one, beyond Back from the Dead, is very much peeling back the onion. That is Hailstorm, as in like we're kind of, I know for me on a personal level, I'm getting through things and revealing things about myself through these songs that I don't think I've actually shown anybody before, including like my bandmates. So it's been really exciting to kind of like, I don't know, in a way go back to the beginning, but also armed with all of the knowledge you have now of how to
Any
put the puzzle together.
anything experimental, or are you just doing what you've normally done? And then talk to us about, you were just obviously not only the main songwriter, but you're
Mhm.
also an important. Obviously, you play the guitar. do you get lyrics first, or do you have something, a riff in your head, or does it go back and forth?
It goes back and forth, and for me, I run at an average about 4 things at the same time. So, like, as in, so since this weekend, I have 4 new songs that I'm kind of trying to flesh out in different ways. One started with a riff and then has a bunch of scats on it. The other one started with a lyric, and I'm working out the chords for that one, and so on and so forth. So there's many ways to skin that cat. For me, it's about um, I liken it to like when you're a kid and you're looking for seashells on the seashore, right? And each one is shinier than the last. You're just looking for that perfect one, and if you blink, you might miss something. So for me, I'm in a constant stage, which is a blessing and a curse, of looking for shiny things and trying to get them as they pass me by. And so that's a lot of absorption and a lot of collecting, but then also you have to make time to kind of go back and be like, okay, this could be more purple here, like it's like you have to kind of separate those two brains in your head. So that's kind of what helps me, and part of my process, if you want to call it that, a process of chaos. But it's like you chase after what you know is special. So
Mhm.
whether that specialness is the subject matter, is the lyric, maybe you don't even have the title yet, but maybe you have the first line. There's a cracked window. Hey, I have a riff that makes me feel like the guts are gonna rattle out of me. What do we do with that? How does that make me feel? How do I put that puzzle together? So, and then the funny thing about when you're working on all those different things at once is that they all start helping each other. As in, whatever you learned from the failure, not the failure, but the path that didn't work out with this one song. Oh, well, that maybe that's an open door for this next
I was
one.
just
So
about to
yeah,
say you might have something going. Okay, it doesn't work in this song, but what about that other song that I'm working on?
yeah.
They intertwine.
And sometimes those things can end up, spanning over the course of years. That's why I always tell the guys, I'm like, never delete yourself. Be a hoarder in your bank, because, for instance, one of our songs on our debut record, Familiar Taste of Poison, I had those verses written on a Tascam cassette. I literally have it here with me. A Tascam cassette that I wrote when I was 19 years old, right? And had this beautiful chorus that I'm like, oh, I'm kind of talking about. Don't I have? I remember doing something with something poison, or there was something, and ended up putting it together for our debut album. Ended up being our third single. So it's like those things are. All the ideas are always valid. Maybe they just haven't found their place yet, and maybe it could happen tomorrow. Maybe it happens a couple years from now. We're like, oh, remember that part? Also, same thing in the bridge of our song Apocalyptic. That whole big bombastic bridge
Right.
used to be a song called Speed Queen, that I did not write about the washer dryer that we all know and love, but it was about a girl I knew. And and we took that bridge that never, the song never saw the light of day, but we took that bridge and stuck it into Apocalyptic, ended up blowing the whole
That's
thing out of the water.
amazing how
So it's,
things work
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. So you gotta just gotta like collect and pay attention.
All right. It's T95's birthday bash,
Woo!
August 6th. Tickets are on sale now. Hartman Arena. I Prevail, Hailstorm, Hollywood Undead, and one other band we can't say just yet.
Oh, surprises.
It's a surprise. But looking forward to you guys coming for our birthday bash. Super excited. You are awesome. Thank you for everything that you do for not just radio, but for the rock community as well, because you're
Oh,
really out there
thanks, man.
and you represent so well, and keep it up.
Oh, thank you, love. And Johnny, I can say the same about you. Thanks for being a lifer and for loving the music and for giving all of us the opportunity to talk on the radio, to tell our story, to play our songs. It's not lost on us that it takes a village to break these things and be a part of it. So thank you for that.
LZZY HALE, everybody!
I'll see you all there. We're gonna toss some cake over the side of the guardrail. Let's do it.